The day is July 9, 2005. It is a morning preparation in Garde-Regiment yard. Meanwhile, in the station box, a worker and an engineer are having a conversation.
So your train you are going to take is ATSF number 5929.
So what is the type of freight train and where am I going to deliver it?
It is a manifest train. It has 56 mixed freight cars. You will take it to trolley yard. It will take you at least 3 days there. So here's your folder with your filled out paperwork for your given train. Good luck on your trip.
The engineer, James Anderson Anglicus, is walking to his train.
I need to tell my conductor the paperwork about the information about our train.
Mitch Quidson is the conductor.
Hey, I got the filled paperwork about our train. Our number of engines are 4. With
James is reading the appearance and the information about the train.
29 West. We have lots of goods in our train, but no chemicals on the tanker cars. Our engines consisted of 2 Santa Fe engines, 1 Burlington Northern engine, and a Norfolk Southern engine. You get it?
I get it. Let's now start our journey.
The engineer starts the train. The switches are lined before Engineer James is asked to go to the station box. The train now departed Garde-Regiment yard, and is having a 3-day journey to trolley yard, which is just the furthest away. However, it will be its last journey before its end.
I think we're going great.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if this takes faster.
I know, right? We have to go through this entire trip. This cost us more money when we reach there.
The sun sets, and is an early evening. The train is still on a good run. However, this will not be a good run, as there is a problem ahead. Just many miles away, there is an APR grain train idling in Panhandle siding. The train has the crew inside, drinking coffee that they brought with them. However, there was a mistake. It was unaware that the siding was switched into the direction of the idling train. This will be a great consequence. Meanwhile, the train is still in a good run. The crew were quiet since this time. But what they didn't know is that they will end up in a disaster real soon. The manifest train has passed the yellow signal, which warns them to approach at a slow speed. But after they passed it for a few minutes, they sped up. The train is just 25.5 minutes away from the grain train. Meanwhile, in the grain train, the crew finished drinking their coffee. The conductor is going to look after while the engineer and the brakeman had a normal conversation.
Dude, did you know some steam train that crashed into a railroad switch back in 1943?
Yeah, I know that. It was like disastrous. At least it is just a freight train. Only 2 were killed, and 1 was seriously injured and may die without medical support.
I see no trains passing by yet.
After more than a few minutes, at the manifest, it is just more than 200 seconds away from the siding. The crew were unaware that the switch was directed into the grain train. The train will hit them in a few more seconds left. Inside the grain train, the conductor saw a triangle of lights in the distance.
I see one, guys.
Okay, good. We will have to wait for... Crap. I forgot something that is mostly important for safety in railroading.
And what is that type of safety?
About the siding.
Are you kidding me? How would you even forget that? You're getting screwed when this train is getting wrecked.
Why the hell would you get back on the train without noticing it? That's terrible, dude.
Back at the manifest, the engineer suddenly realizes the switch.
Hey, what's wrong?
Check at the freaking switch.
What the hell? We're going to crash right towards the train. Can we bail off?
Let's do that.
The crew decided to bail out. The conductor went first, before the engineer. As well as the crew from the grain train. And finally, the inevitable happens. The manifest train crashes into the idling grain train at the speed of 150 km per hour, which is 90 miles per hour. The speed of the train was too fast. It made the impact so strong. 3 of the cars of the manifest that were far from the wreckage also derailed. The APR locomotive, 329, was completely obliterated due to collision damage. The 4 units of the manifest were completely destroyed, and their hoods and cabs were torn apart.
It is their damn fault they didn't notice the freaking switch, just like from the cactus train collision.
I know, right? They should be in damn arrest. They should have reset the switch to the main line. But I decided not to blame them, because they might have a disease or anything.
Totally.
I apologize for forgetting about the switch. I suddenly had short-term memory loss.
It's just fine. Take your medicine when you get home.
The trains themselves are a complete write-off. Soon, rescue arrived at 8:15 a.m., 3 hours after the crash. A 2-engine local and 1 locomotive are responded to pull away the remaining cars from the wreck.
So that's how your train crashed?
Exactly. It was a strong impact. This was like the biggest crash I've ever seen.
The first train left at 8:27 a.m. before the next train at 8:30 a.m. Right after 30 minutes, at exactly 9 o'clock, the local attaches the two engines of the remains of the grain train. 2 minutes later, it begins to tow the two engines for reassembly and to continue their career. While they are still cleaning the wreckage up, the crew from both trains were picked up by a dually truck that was owned by Union Pacific. While they're picked up and moved away from the crash site, the ATSF are called to investigate what caused this crash.
I'm sorry sir, I didn't mean to cause this crash. I'm out of my mind.
Just don't worry, you're not in trouble, you can have time cure your disease or whatever is in you, you can take days until you return.
Thank you sir. I will cure myself and then go back to railroading.
So I have to give him time to be out of the railroad while having that condition in order for him to not be sad. He deserves to take a break from the railroad for a week until he came back. I hope he is okay and feels better.
Meanwhile, just hours after the crash, former author Harold P. Andrewster created the article about the train crash, which already got as many views.
So I know all the causes in my folder with some informations the staff gave me before making the article. I wouldn't believe that if that train did or did not crash.
Before the destroyed engines were towed, the ATSF chose an engineer to drive the engine which is going to pull them to the scrapyard. In the end, all the engines from the manifest, including the lead engine from the grain train, and the majority of freight cars, were towed away for scrap. While the two units behind the grain train were repaired, and put back into service. The CN train was renumbered into 9444, and still operates to this day. As well as the third unit, now rebuilt as an SD50, repainted into Conrail, and renumbered into 5473, as an honor to the actual 5473, which also still runs to this day.